Welcome, viewers. Today we expose the dark manipulation that forged the mighty German Empire. Many think Germany was forged only by the fierce military power of the Prussian army. But the truth is far more sinister. A mastermind conquered Europe without firing the first shot. Bismarck used diplomacy as a deadly weapon, manipulating empires to destroy themselves. How did a single telegram provoke a massive war and birth a fearsome superpower? In the mid-19th century, a unified German nation simply did not exist anywhere. Instead, it was a chaotic, tangled mess of 39 independent arguing states. They were constantly bickering at the weak Frankfurt Parliament, lacking any real global power. This fractured realm was dangerously sandwiched between two extremely powerful European empires. To the south loomed the massive Austrian Empire, and to the west stood the powerful French nation. These smaller German states were paralyzed by endless debates and a complete lack of unity. Meanwhile, in the chilly northern lands, the Kingdom of Prussia was facing a severe internal crisis. King Wilhelm I was utterly desperate and on the verge of stepping down from his throne forever. His royal authority was crumbling daily, and his military reforms were completely blocked. He desperately needed a true political miracle to save his crown from certain ruin. Enter Otto von Bismarck, a deeply conservative and fiercely loyal aristocratic Junker. He was known as a rough, cigar-smoking politician with a brilliant but utterly ruthless mind. The king reluctantly appointed this terrifying man as the new Prime Minister of Prussia. Bismarck immediately silenced the parliament, declaring that great questions are solved by blood and iron.
Regardless of the cost.
He was determined to clean up the fractured German mess and forge a single, terrifying nation. But how could one man unite 39 stubborn states without triggering a total collapse? He knew that romantic speeches and democratic votes had already failed miserably in the past. The continent was an incredibly dangerous chessboard, and Bismarck was ready to play his master stroke. He observed the balance of power, calculating every weakness of his ignorant rivals. The grand illusion is that Bismarck possessed a perfect, pre-calculated military blueprint. Many assume he simply built an unstoppable army and marched forward to conquer his neighbors. This popular myth suggests that raw Prussian military might alone forced the unification. But the geopolitical reality of the 19th century was vastly more complicated. The Prussian military machine under General von Moltke was highly disciplined and fast. They utilized modern railway networks and devastating new rifles to move with deadly precision. However, their growing strength was not nearly enough to defeat the entire European continent. If Prussia openly attacked the independent states, surrounding empires would retaliate. France, Austria, and Russia would form a massive alliance to completely crush the aggressive Prussians. Records show Bismarck knew that pure, unprovoked aggression was a path to certain national destruction. He understood that a war of blatant conquest would turn Prussia into the villain of Europe. To survive the wrath of his mighty neighbors, the Prime Minister had to play a much darker game. If pure military might was not the final answer, how would you conquer an entire continent? The answer lies in understanding the core philosophy that drove his every political move. Bismarck realized that the southern German states despised Prussia and would never submit willingly. They had to be frightened into joining him, united by the specter of a common enemy. He had to create a scenario where the German states begged Prussia for military protection. This realization birthed the ultimate weapon of the century, known as Realpolitik. Realpolitik applied practical politics ruthlessly, stripping away all morality. It meant abandoning ideals to focus entirely on cold, calculated survival. Bismarck became a ghost in the machine, manipulating foreign monarchs through complex secret treaties. He never started a major conflict. Instead, he carefully lured his enemies into striking. He used brilliant diplomatic deception to make his adversaries shoot themselves in the foot. His strategy isolated his target politically before unleashing the Prussian army. First, he outmaneuvered the Austrian Empire, removing them with surgical precision. But his ultimate manipulation was reserved for the French Emperor, Napoleon III. Napoleon III was a proud leader, burdened by the glorious legacy of his uncle. The French Empire was desperate to maintain its dominance over the European mainland. The explosive turning point arrived unexpectedly during the summer of 1870. A sudden crisis emerged regarding the empty royal throne of the neighboring Spanish kingdom. A relative of the Prussian king was offered the Spanish crown, sparking absolute outrage in France. The French feared being completely surrounded by Prussian allies on both of their national borders. Seeking to avoid a massive war, King Wilhelm gently advised his relative to decline the offer. The diplomatic crisis seemed to be peacefully resolved, bringing immense relief to the Prussian king. However, the ambitious French government desired a public humiliation of the Prussian state. They foolishly pushed their luck, demanding a permanent guarantee that a Prussian would never rule Spain. Ambassador Benedetti aggressively confronted King Wilhelm at the resort of Ems. Benedetti intercepted the king on his morning walk, violating strict protocols. He aggressively demanded the guarantee, acting with startling arrogance and disrespect. Despite the extreme pressure, King Wilhelm maintained his regal composure and polite demeanor. He politely refused to make any permanent promises regarding the Spanish royal throne. The king then respectfully ended the conversation and dismissed the demanding French ambassador. Seeking to keep his government informed, Wilhelm sent a routine telegram back to Berlin. This internal message simply detailed his relatively polite encounter with the French diplomat. History records that Bismarck was dining with military leaders when the telegram arrived. He read the peaceful report and quickly recognized the greatest opportunity of his life. In his smoke-filled office, Bismarck held the destiny of millions of lives within his steady hands. If he played this correctly, the mighty French Empire would blindly stumble right into his deadly trap. He needed to enrage the French public enough to force their emperor into declaring war. With cold calculation, he took his golden pen and began to carefully edit the king's telegram. He added no false words, but ruthlessly deleted all the conciliatory language. He condensed the polite exchange into a harsh narrative that suggested severe disrespect. The edited document implied that the French ambassador had rudely insulted the Prussian king. Furthermore, it falsely suggested that the king had brutally dismissed the ambassador in disgust. This manipulated piece of paper would soon become known as the devastating Ems Dispatch. Bismarck immediately leaked this highly provocative text to the global press on Bastille Day. He chose the French national holiday to maximize the emotional impact of the insult. When the news reached Paris, it acted like a lit match thrown directly into a massive powder keg. The fiercely proud and easily provoked French public erupted in absolute nationalist fury. Massive crowds gathered in the streets, aggressively screaming for immediate war against the Prussians. The French press wildly amplified the outrage, demanding bloody vengeance for the perceived insult. Emperor Napoleon III faced an impossible dilemma inside his grand palace. His popularity was fading. He desperately needed a glorious military victory. Blinded by sudden rage and public pressure, the emperor lost his geopolitical reasoning. He foolishly believed that the mighty French army could easily crush the arrogant northern kingdom. Ignoring the severe lack of preparation, France formally declared war on Prussia in July. This impulsive declaration of war was precisely the mistake that Bismarck had orchestrated. By letting France attack first, Prussia became the innocent victim of unprovoked aggression. This brilliant manipulation achieved what decades of political speeches could never do. Facing a foreign invasion, the independent southern German states immediately panicked. Their long-standing hatred for Prussia was completely eclipsed by their mortal fear of the French. A massive wave of profound German nationalism swept across the divided continent. Suddenly, they begged to stand under the powerful military umbrella of the Prussian king. Bismarck sat quietly in his office, enjoying his cigar as the puzzle pieces connected. He united the entire German realm by sacrificing the foolish pride of his enemy. He took his golden pen and transformed a polite refusal into a sharp, bitter insult. The proud French army marched forward, completely unaware of the deadly trap awaiting them. General von Moltke unleashed his highly disciplined troops with terrifying efficiency. The Prussian military machine utilized modern railways to outmaneuver the French forces. The outdated French military tactics were brutally exposed upon the muddy, tragic battlefields. Their brave soldiers fought fiercely, yet they were hopelessly surrounded by the advancing enemy. The devastating climax occurred at the brutal and decisive Battle of Sedan in September. Prussian artillery rained relentless fire upon the completely trapped and desperate French army. Emperor Napoleon III himself was captured on the shattered battlefield by the enemy. It was a humiliating and total defeat that instantly destroyed the powerful French Empire. The arrogant French leader was forced to surrender his sword to the victorious Prussian forces. Paris soon fell into complete chaos, starving under a ruthless and freezing Prussian siege. But Bismarck was not merely satisfied with a simple military victory over the French nation. He wanted a permanent political triumph that would echo throughout human history forever. The southern German states, overwhelmed by victory, finally agreed to the grand unification. They willingly surrendered their long independence to join the mighty Prussian superpower. To finalize his masterpiece, Bismarck chose the most insulting location possible for the ceremony. He deliberately selected the breathtaking Hall of Mirrors inside the Grand Palace of Versailles. This magnificent room was the ultimate symbol of French royal pride and historical dominance. In January 1871, surrounded by conquered French lands, history was made. The glittering hall was packed with proud Prussian officers in pristine military uniforms. Bismarck stood victorious, wearing his ceremonial cuirassier uniform with absolute pride. He proudly watched as King Wilhelm I was officially crowned the new German emperor. The title of Kaiser echoed through the Golden Room, marking the birth of a terrifying empire. The Prime Minister had transformed a chaotic mess into a united global superpower. He had conquered a vast continent, not just with iron cannons, but with masterful manipulation. By cleverly editing a single telegram, he baited a foolish rival into complete national ruin. Bismarck proved to be the greatest poker player in the entire history of modern Europe. He won the ultimate game not because he always possessed the strongest military cards. He won because he brilliantly knew exactly how to manipulate everyone at the table. His calculated Realpolitik shattered the delicate balance of European power. The unified German Empire instantly became the most dominant military force in the world. His breathtaking political masterpiece changed the geopolitical map of the world forever. Bismarck united Germany, but his ruthless methods planted dark seeds for future global conflicts. Was he a visionary genius who built a nation, or a cruel tyrant? Share your thoughts below. If you enjoyed this historical deep dive, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more.